welcome to Volontol. I am your host and narrator, Millennial Shitbird. And today we're going to be talking about how history continues to repeat itself. And the funny part is I've never seen the History Channel or the Military Channel figure this one out, even though I watched one episode with one and another episode with another one. I'm like, wait a minute. So, where did these guys mess up? Well, like in World War II, I was taught that the MG-42 was the first interchangeable machine gun. But if you look at FN with the BAR, they came out with one with an interchangeable barrel, and it was pretty dope, you know. Germans took over Belgium, had the FN factory, had the sons of bitches. They played with them, and hey, lo and behold, some years later, they come out with an interchangeable barrel. Surprise, surprise, find that one in fucking history, asshole. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the FT-17. Okay, that's the one with the little camo paint, medium size. We're talking about the M4 Sherman and the T-34. Now, the FT, I keep going to F2. The FT-17 is a French-made take with the first 360-degree rotating turret. It was a two-man operation. They had a machine gun or they had a little snubby-ass 75mm gun. Now, these were great for busting up bunkers and so on and so forth. And it had a little fin on the back end for it to go through trenches and holes because the bigger ones would just bog down. It was a pretty fast tank of World War I. So it gets the credit of being the first 360-degree rotating turret on a tank, but it never gives credit to who actually made the first one, okay? Now, then you see the other picture of an M4 Sherman, okay? The M4 Sherman, this guy was credited for having the first aerodynamic armor, okay? And then the T-34 has a sloped armor, okay? The sloped armor is the armor being at an angle to have a harder penetration with the metal being thicker. Now, they talk about these guys being the first, but they never give credit to who actually had the first. Now, we're not going to give credit to anybody. We're not going to be talking about names. We're just going to show you pictures and talk about how fucking stupid people are. So, when did they invent these things beforehand? Let me get the old blue screen moving again. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Those are ironclads, okay? One of them's southern, one of them's northern. Okay, a little almond shaped one there with a little squat turret in there with a small picture, if you can see it. That is a Union ironclad that came out after the big picture one. Now look at the big picture one. Not only is it aerodynamic, it is the first to use sloped armor, with the armor being at an angle. And then the Union came out with the retaliation with the Monitor, which is an almond shape with a turret. Now, I can't remember if the turret goes 360, but it goes pretty far back and around. I don't know if it goes all the way and hits the smokestack or not in the back. Now, both of these being ironclads, and these guns had to reload slow and they had to fire, the Monitor with two guns really couldn't knock out the Confederate ones. Now, the Confederate ones couldn't really knock out the Monitors. They sat low, they were heavy. The best they could do is they could get a turret kill and hit the ring and mess it up. Now, I've never heard anybody give them any credit whatsoever when they hit up all these tanks and talk about it. Now, even if you look at the T-34 once again, let's look and see what they stole. They stole the sloped armor. The suspension was American. They paid for an American to do it, and they stopped giving them royalties after so-and-so time. The Americans passed on this suspension. Well, if you look at tanks nowadays, it's the same goddamn suspension. But the Americans passed on it. Sloped armor, the Confederates made that shit. The 360-degree turrets, everybody was making that shit beforehand. You know, all the way back to 1860s with the Navy. Okay? So suspension, sloped armor, turret. The only thing up there that is Russian is that snubby 75. And that snubby 75 was obsolete shortly thereafter. Conscripts, ladies and gentlemen. Money always gets you better with capitalism. So that's pretty much there. Those who fail to study history are doomed to repeat itself. Bet you never thought about that, seen that, heard that. There's others. There's more. Serious about the BAR. Look it up. FMBAR. 1930s. I believe they came out with like 36, 37. John Moses Browning went over there after World War II or World War I. Got their whole system set up. they praise him. Get a lot of good stuff from us, you know. Not only are the French good at making things, and the Germans are making things in revolutionary history, but the Americans had too, but they're not going to get credit for the turrets, the sloped armor, or the aerodynamics until the Sherman tank comes out. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Something you didn't expect. And as always, fuck you, San Diego.